Okay, so welcome to another deep dive. Today we're going to be looking at this motivational clip, Accelerate Through Life's Adventures.
Hmm.
And, this one's all about like personal growth and like inspiring others,
Yeah.
you know.
Big stuff.
Yeah, think big and like subscribe for more of this type of content.
Right.
But let's break it down a little bit. When you first listened to it, what were some of the things that like jumped out at you?
Well, I think it's really interesting because it's chock full of these like power phrases that you hear a lot in personal development circles. Inner awesome,
Right.
life's adventure, best self,
Yeah.
inspire others, even, the big one, change the world.
Yeah.
And, a little bit of smile sprinkled in there too, for good measure.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting though, because I feel like we hear those phrases, those kinds of power phrases a lot, but what do they actually mean?
Right.
In a practical sense? Like, what does it look like to unleash your inner awesome?
Well, I think the first step there is to actually define like what inner awesome means.
Okay.
For you
Yeah.
as an individual, what are your strengths? What are your passions?
Right.
What are the things that make you uniquely you? I think that's where it starts.
I love that. Yeah. So it's not just about being good at something.
Right.
It's about tapping into the things that really genuinely light you up.
Yeah, exactly. It's finding what makes you tick. And then I think, once you identify those strengths, then it becomes about, okay, how do I actually use them? How do I hone them?
Yeah.
How do I push myself? How do I get outside of my comfort zone and, really test the limits of what I'm capable of? And I think, that's where you really start to step into that, life's adventure that they talk about in this clip.
Okay. Yeah. And that kind of brings up another point that they made, which is, they talk about inspiring others.
Right.
And they kind of make this connection between your own personal growth and how that can like inspire others.
Right.
So what do you think about that?
I think there's a lot of truth to that. I mean, when you commit to growing, to becoming like the best version of yourself, I think it just naturally rubs off on other people.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, think about it. Have you ever been inspired by somebody who is just so passionate and driven and like genuinely themselves?
Yeah, totally.
It's contagious, that energy.
Right. Yeah. And it's like they say, be the change you want to see in the world.
Right.
But that actually makes me think about another point that they brought up, which is this idea of changing the world one smile at a time, which honestly kind of feels a little simplistic, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, can we really make a difference just through like small acts of kindness?
I mean, I think it's more nuanced than just simply smiling. I think it's about the cumulative effect of positive actions. Maybe one smile doesn't change the world. But what if there's a whole community? What if there's a whole network of people who are all committed to, just being kind to each other and being compassionate and understanding?
Yeah.
I think that can create like a ripple effect.
Yeah.
That can start to change the energy of a community.
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe that inspires other people to do the same.
So it's about kind of shifting the focus from, like these grand gestures as an individual to more of a collective commitment.
Right.
To making positive change.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's actually, that's where the platform itself comes in.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's about fostering that community.
Right.
Providing the tools, the resources, the support for people to go on their own personal growth journeys.
Yeah.
And I think, if you think about it, that's a pretty powerful idea, to have a platform that's designed to empower individuals to be their best selves, to unleash their inner awesome. Imagine the potential for positive change that has.
It really makes you think about these platforms.
Yeah.
Like, could subscribing to something like this actually lead to, a better world?
Yeah, I think that's a good question.
Yeah.
And it's one that's, worth thinking about. I think ultimately, it depends on how people engage with it.
Yeah.
And the actions that they take in their own lives. It's not a magic bullet, but it could be a catalyst for change.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we've covered a lot of ground today.
Yeah.
From defining our inner awesome to talking about like the potential impact of a platform dedicated to, personal growth. What's your final takeaway for our listeners today?
Well, I would say, don't underestimate the power of personal growth.
Okay.
It's not just about feeling good.
Yeah.
It's about unlocking your potential to have a positive impact on the world. One step, one smile, one act of kindness at a time.
Love that. Well, thanks for diving deep with us today.
It's been fun.
And we hope this has inspired you to think about your own journey of personal growth and the power we all have to make a difference.
Absolutely.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.